Just got this from the UPS man, hot off the truck. It's from K-Tec. It's their new 1237 ADT scraper. Let's go ahead and get it out of the box. Go ahead and get the ends open. Kind of a cool box. Oh my. Alright, so here it is, the K-Tec ADT series. It's the 1237 ADT featuring the Volvo 45 GFS, the 45-ton, or Volvo's 45-ton articulated dump truck. There it is on the front of the box. Got a picture of it working on a site there down on the front. On the end, again, same information there. On the back, picture of just the scraper. Got some specifications, talks about how they can, what it takes to pull the box off of a articulated dump truck and time it takes to get it set up to pull the scraper. And then some, just some other specifications and information about the truck and the scraper itself. Really cool. Kind of like the front, this end of the box. It looks like a, one of the shipping containers. It's pretty cool how they've done that. So we'll go ahead and get this opened up and get it out of the box and take a look at it. So got it out of the box here. It's in some plastic formers. So we've got one there. I think this one just slides off. Yep, perfect. And then the model just comes out of this. And the truck. Set that aside. Well, alright, we got it out of the box. This looks fantastic. Just starting off, I'm amazed by some of the detail and the pieces of it. As I look at it more and more, I seem to find more and more detail. So let's dive into some of the functionality and detail of the articulated truck, and then we'll get into the scraper here in just a minute. Alright, so we'll go ahead and start here with the articulated truck. This is a Motoart model. So, as you can imagine, this Volvo is pretty similar to the Motoart articulated dump trucks. It's got the nice Volvo branding here across the front. We got our mirrors, our handrails in orange, steps up the back. All the hydraulic lines and boxes here on the back. We have the K-Tec fifth wheel accommodation plate here on the back with some fenders. This is all metal. As we move around to this side, again, we've got our nice wheels, the fender wells. Again, the handrails and the exhaust here on this side. Step up. Coming back around to the front again. Volvo branding. Headlights. Even the grille is perforated here on the side, making this model look really, really nice. You got a windshield wiper, not molded into the actual windshield. Something different, pretty cool to see. Let's go ahead and dive into some of the function. So some of the function here is we do have an opening hood. And as we get into the hood, we can see the Volvo motor. We got the fan over here. looks like maybe some filters here on the front. Again, another fan on this side. Excellent detail. You can see the perforations here in the grill. You can actually see through them. That's really cool. Something I'd really like to see in a model, because that makes it more realistic. And then when you bring it down, you can actually see the fan there behind it. As you can imagine, it's an articulated truck, so it should articulate, and it does. My particular model is a little stiff, but brand new, so some of that to be expected. Rolls really nice. It'll articulate over front and rear, just like any articulated dump truck should. As we move into the underneath side, you can see kind of just your general engine area, but then you do have a differential here, a transmission. You've got some drive shafts going back to the rear differentials, some bolt and other details on the inside of the wheels. Overall, for the undercarriage of a vehicle, pretty fair. I will say one thing I did notice is it appears that you may be able to remove the K-Tec fifth wheel plate. There's two pieces here and then the one right there. That plate may slide off. Some modelers may decide to do that. I don't have a desire to do that, but if you do, that might be something that interests you. Here we can see from the top view of the K-Tec fifth wheel plate, this is where our hydraulic lines will go in from the scraper, and again, all the pieces that attach it to the articulated dump truck. Okay, so with that, let's move on to looking at the details of the scraper. Alright, as we look at the scraper, we're going to go ahead and start here from the front. There is an immense amount of detail, so this could take a little bit. We've got our fifth wheel attachment here. This is where it comes and connects into the truck. Rubber hydraulic hoses to represent all the hydraulic lines that go into the scraper itself. Metal or a plastic rubber piece here, but in silver, to show that how those are connected. We come back down the scraper. We've got some bolt detail here in the articulation. We've got all kinds of warning labels underneath. As we come around to the side, an overall view, I hope you can see all the detail. But there's probably some things that you're not going to see yet. So we'll kind of zoom in here and take a look. So as we pan down the side of the scraper, we've got warning labels and warning labels. We've got the hydraulic lines into the hydraulic cylinders, and a matter of fact, something that's really cool, you've got a rubber hose that then turns into a metal pipe that enters into the hydraulic cylinder. Same thing goes here, where the pipe here, where the hydraulics would come down the scraper and then go from metal piping to rubber. You see that in this chrome piece right here. We come down here, some more warning labels, our articulated piece for the door of the scraper. We see more warning labels, more hydraulic hoses to the cylinder here that actually raises and lowers the scraping edge or the cutting edge of the scraper. We come down here, we've got more labeling, the K-Tec brand, 1237, more labeling, more labeling. We even see these nice grooves where the back ejector plate will move the dirt out of the scraper when it's time to eject the dirt. More warning labels. This purple color, I think the K-Tec purple really pops off this yellow. So again, something that really is great on this piece. As we move here to the rear, we've got our lights, our amber and our red, our slow moving vehicle sign. You can see the actual cut through perforations on the ejector plate. The wheel and tire tread, really nice. We've got some hooks. If we had to hook a chain to remove this, you've got your push plate here if you're running a bulldozer. to assist this. And something that's different from this version, or on this version from the last version of this, which I think was a 1233, not a 1237. I don't believe that the 1233 from K-Tec had the ability to add a second scraper. So this actually has the fifth wheel plate, and if you go to their website, you can see this, where they actually run an articulated dump truck with two scrapers in tandem. Well, maybe K-Tec's going to come out with a scraper by itself, because you can put another one right on the back of this unit here. So again, as we come down the opposite side, we've got some more labeling here, there, pinch points all over on these scrapers. Something that you may not see, but as you look in the very top corner, I'll kind of zoom in for us, but right up here on both corners of the scraper, you can see the K-Tec label, branding label on the ejector plate. Something that's really, really cool. Something they've done right here on the door of the scraper is they've got a perforation cut into the metal. You can actually hear the pointer scraping over that. Their K branding or logo is in the back of that door. Another detail that's really fantastic. So as we move back to the front of the scraper, you can see this little red piece right here is actually a depth gauge. So as the operator runs the scraper up and down, he or she can see how deep the scraper is running, just off that little metal stake that's attached to the scraper itself. Another great detail that you see something that's realistic in the real version here on the model itself. Back around along this side here, you can see that this part of the blade, basically the side edge, is actually turned outward, as it would do to collect or keep the dirt into the scraper. Just another piece of detailing. As we move back up here to the hydraulic lines, again, as we see these hoses and lines come out, the rubber to metal all the way around, something that's really, really been done well. All right, so now it's time to get into some of the functionality of the K-Tec 137 scraper. And I'll tell you this, I've had some challenges with some of the functions. So first of all, something that functions pretty easily. The front scraper door opens and closes. You do have to be very careful on where you push so that you don't bend or break the front perforations here, the kind of the grill. I bent mine a little bit already. The other thing is the scraper does move up and down. So you can see how the scraper blade down here at the bottom will move up and down, just as you would anticipate with any scraper. Some things that I believe function, but on my review model, I cannot get to function. It appears that the ejector plate here on the back would slide forward. I say that for a couple reasons. It appears that we have a rail system here. It also, if we zoom in back here on the back, it appears that there is a section where what is attached to this ejector scraper or ejector plate would appear to move. On the review model, I cannot get it to move, and I don't want to break it. And I don't want to do any more damage than I probably already have. The other thing that I cannot get to move is it would appear that right here at these bolts, or what appears to be bolt marks right here, that this scraper main arm that comes from the scraper up to where it connects on the fifth wheel on the articulated dump truck would swivel back and forth in this direction, right at these points. And I'll tell you that you can see a little bit here on this side that I've started to be able to do that. But the problem is that the paint on this model is so stiff. I think that's why the ejector plate doesn't move, is because the paint is so stiff. But the paint is so stiff right here. You can see I've started to actually get it to move, and I just don't want to do any more damage to it. But you can see the paint has started to chip in order for it to begin to swivel. And I feel like that needs to swivel because, let me show you here. Let's zoom out. And let me show you why that needs to, or why I believe that needs to swivel. Because when you bring the articulated truck in, it appears that this slides under some pins in the front, in the back, but you can see that because we have no swivel right here at this point, we can't get the wheels to touch. And it doesn't make a difference at how far extended these hydraulic rams are that just lower and all that does is lower the knife edge of the scraper. But because we have no articulation here, we can't put the wheels down on the articulated dump truck. Now, I will say, maybe this is just on my review model that I have here. Just for everybody's information, I paid for this model myself. This was not sent to me. So it's not a pre-production model that I'm aware of. K-Tec said they were coming out with these, or I think in March. I got on the list to get one, and they came available, paid for it, they sent it, shipped it to me. It arrived today. So that's a little disappointing to me. The hydraulic hoses, they will tuck away. I know in some other I think in the previous versions, these may not have been long enough. Trust me, I think, at least on my review model, again, these are plenty long enough. I don't believe this little hatch opens, maybe on like previous models, but there is a little hole that these hydraulic lines will go in, and with some practice, you can get all four of them to go in there. Now, the model did come with 2 pins. I had to put a pin here through a shaft, and then there's also a pin that goes right in here to secure the fifth wheel down into the fifth wheel mechanism on the truck. But you can see that we're having a little bit of a challenge. And again, no instructions with the model. This is a Motoart model. I don't know if it's just because of paint or what. My model just isn't quite functioning as maybe I think it should. I gotta say, everybody, I was super excited about this model. This is a very unique model. You don't see many of these out there. It's not something every day. It's not your typical, tandem motor scraper. It's something completely different. So I was pretty excited to get it. It is a little pricey, but overall, I love the detail in this model. The immense amount of detail in this model. They did a great job of really replicating the detail of their 36 cubic yard, 37 cubic yards, in the K-Tec 1237. The cool thing and why you see the kind of shipping container box is this model can, in 1-to-1 scale, can be broken down and actually shipped internationally in a shipping container. That's something unique to the K-Tec, these K-Tec models. So that's why you see the shipping container style box, something that's cool. I think they did a great job with that. But as I said, from a functionality of the model, it leaves a lot to be desired. And I wish Motoart, they've done a great job, a fantastic job with the detail. I just wish it had a little bit more functionality, or the functionality that appears to be there to actually function like it should. Again, maybe it's just on my model. Maybe that's not everybody's version. So, take that for what it's worth. But overall, it's a great looking model. It'll look great in my display cabinet. I just wish some of the things, because it doesn't look like I'm really going to be able to display it hooked up to the truck, unfortunately, because of the way it seems to be working. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, hit the bell so you get the notification for the next video, and heck, if you can, go ahead and subscribe. And listen, whatever your hobby is, I hope you get time to enjoy it. Thank you for watching.